Okay, with Claire Tomlinson, Surviving Alone, The Tale of Simone is the beautiful short film. Fantastic film. I love this film a lot. Can
Thank
you
you.
just tell people who Simone is?
Yes, so Simone is the last Greater Bamboo Lemur, which is a very rare species of lemur, in
You
a
named it.
huge
I'm
forest.
assuming you named it. It didn't
So
tell
it
you.
wasn't actually me. It wasn't me that named her Simone. So the Latin name of her species is Prolemur simus. So the
Okay.
scientists that were studying her decided to call her Simone because it sounds a bit like the simus part at the end. So there are probably around 1,000 of them in Madagascar in total, but in this huge area of rainforest, very long way from any other areas of rainforest, there is just one on her own, and that's Simone.
Gotcha. All right. So, according to the blog interview that you did with us, you're on your honeymoon, correct?
Yes,
And
yes,
you
that's
you
what I
ran into Simone.
Yeah, that's when I first met her. So yeah, I was on my honeymoon and we were just having an adventurous trip around Madagascar, exploring the rainforest. And we had a guide with us and we saw all sorts of amazing species. And then we saw this one particular lemur just munching on bamboo. I thought, oh, he or she's kind of cute. And the guide told us that it was a male, and that he was the last of his species. And I thought that can't be true, surely. So when I got back to the UK, I was like, I need to find out more about this because if this is true, then there's definitely this is terrible and there's a story there. So when I got back to the UK, I found out that she was actually a female lemur, and she was indeed the last one, not the last one in the whole country, but the last one in that area. So yeah, pretty shocking.
You're a wildlife photographer by trade. That's is that
Well,
your profession, right?
I guess it is now. I used to be a teacher. I used to teach French, German, and Spanish.
Okay.
But I decided I wanted a complete career change. I've always done wildlife photography as a hobby, but I decided I wanted to move into wildlife filmmaking. And once I had this idea of this story with Simone, I pitched that idea to apply for a wildlife filmmaking course in Bristol. And then during the course, which I got onto the course, and during the course, I was able to make that film and head to Madagascar. So yeah, it was a great adventure.
Okay, so this was done at the University of West of England
That's right. Yeah, and it was my first ever film.
in your first ever film. So but you took the course knowing that you're going to make this film.
Well, hoping, but it wasn't a definite. It depended on a lot of things, whether I could get any funding as well, because I couldn't afford the whole film without any help. So I wrote lots of proposals and eventually got some funding from an organization called Rewild, and they had a specific lemur grant. And because this film raises awareness of the plight of a rare species of lemur,
Mhm.
they awarded me money towards the film, which meant it was possible. But I did have to have ideas for backup films if that wasn't going to be possible.
Gotcha. Okay, so what was the process of so you never made a film before. You have this great idea for this project. So what's the process? Did you know it was going to be 15 minutes? Did you write a script? Like what was your process of making the film?
So we knew, all of us who were doing this course, our films had to be 15 minutes.
Okay.
So I knew it was going to be a short film. But before I actually went out there and filmed it, it was hard to know exactly how the story was going to be structured. There were some other aspects to the story that I wasn't able to include in the end, because it just wouldn't fit in the time. So it was really the edit phase after having filmed. So I was in Madagascar for 3 weeks. And during that time, I filmed the interviews with the Dutch scientist and Patricia Wright, who's the world's leading expert in lemurs, and also filmed lots of stuff of Simone herself and of golden bamboo lemurs. But I also knew that Alba had some archive footage for me that showed the incident, for example, of when Simone drops the baby. So I knew that the film was going to need to be uh, archive footage interwoven with footage that I would film there. But it was the edit that took about 2 or 3 months to try to get the story exactly right, to get the story beats right, and get the emotion right as well. Because I also wanted it to have um, I didn't want it to be so shocking that everybody's left just feeling, everything's a disaster. It needs to have a little bit of
Yeah.
hope at the end of it. So yeah, the process, well, lots of storyboarding and drawing out ideas. A lot of those things didn't necessarily end up being how it was
Sure.
in the end, because once you're out there and filming, it can be quite different. So yeah, and we had lots of workshops about good storytelling, and we practiced with the cameras on how to make good sequences. So we had lots of training to help us make a good film.
Okay, so besides Simone and the lemur, what do you think what is I have we all have our interpretation, but what is your film about? Like, what do you think your film's about?
Ooh, well, partly about the effects of loneliness and
Sure.
how we shouldn't think that we are the only species that can have mental health problems and feel grief, but also that these sorts of things are going to happen more and more because of the fact that we have such a biodiversity crisis now, and that more and more species, the numbers are just dwindling. So there'll probably be lots of animals in a similar situation to Simone. And I think what's really important about this film is it makes something that can seem a bit vague. It can seem like something so big, the biodiversity crisis. Yes, it's terrible. Lots of animals are dying. But if you have a specific story of one individual animal, it makes it more personal. And I hope, and my intention is that makes it speak to more people and make more people care.
100%. Yeah, that's what I got out of it too. It's like I brought this up in previous podcasts, but there's like this human narcissism about like how it's poor us. It's like we're the only one who feels and etc. I'm not saying I'm being general, of course, right? But
Mm.
of course, like we screwed up the environments for these animals, and everything's all out of whack. Like one would assume they're going to feel something, right?
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. And especially primates. I mean, they're so similar to us. We can forget how, yeah, it's very likely that they feel all the same emotions that we do, really.
Sure.
Um, but everything seems to be against these lemurs. It's not just habitat destruction. There seems to be so many things all happening at once that are affecting them. Climate change has made the bamboo grow harder. So in some places the lemurs are breaking their teeth trying to eat the bamboo. In some places, lemurs are eaten as bushmeat. Um, and in other places where the numbers of the lemurs, where the habitat's already disappearing, some lemurs are going to eat crops instead because they
Yeah.
can't find enough bamboo, and then they get killed by people because they've eaten crops. And then there's more cyclones because of climate change as well. So the poor bamboo lemurs and multiple other species just have everything against them right now. So they need all the help they can get. And people forget about other species of lemurs. When people say lemur, they always think of King Julian and just the ring-tailed lemur, but there are actually more than 111 different species of lemur. So there are so many of them we need to look out for, and they only exist in Madagascar, nowhere else.
Yeah, it's a big, well, congratulations on because you had this hope and you had this pursuit to make this film, and you
Yeah.
made the film. How does it
Mm.
feel?
Yeah, amazing. I'm so happy. Yeah, there were many times where I didn't think it was going to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of phone calls with Dr. Patricia Wright, whether she was in New York, whether she was in Madagascar, trying to work out how are the logistics going to work. It was very challenging as well to work out permits to film in the rainforest, and the logistics of getting. So the camera gear I used was borrowed from the university, and so getting that into the country was complicated. So there was a lot to work out. So I was over the moon when it all came together. Yeah.
Well, in the Western world, we really only know Madagascar from the movie, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, but I guess we know the country. Like my daughter knows the country because of the movie.
Mm.
That said, how is the political climate? How is, like you said, getting the camera, making a film there? How is that process? Was it
Yeah, it's quite
easy or
challenging.
yeah?
Um, the political context in Madagascar has actually got pretty intense in the last couple of months. Actually, they've had a coup, and the government was overthrown. So there's a lot of political
Oh wow,
unrest.
okay.
Um, Unfortunately, a lot of corruption, and yeah, a lot of poverty as well. So it's quite shocking seeing um, certain political people might be extremely wealthy, and then the majority of the people have almost nothing. So it's really quite shocking to see. But in terms of getting things into the country, yeah, just complicated, really, just complicated red tape, and also we had to be very careful as well, transporting equipment. We had to get when we flew to the capital, Antananarivo, and then we had a 15-hour van journey down to Ranomafana, which is the area where Simone is. And there's lots of dangers you face on the road. For example, some people stop cars pretending to be police, and then you get hijacked or whatever. So there's a lot of it's not necessarily the safest place to travel on your own, unfortunately.
Yeah. So the people that you interviewed in the film, they live in Madagascar?
No, so Alba, the Dutch girl,
Yeah.
she lives in the Netherlands, and she when she discovered the whole, I mean, she was the one who studied Simone initially. She was doing a master's, and she obviously had got into contact with Patricia Wright, and Patricia Wright had helped Alba to go out to Madagascar. So Alba had studied the effects of loneliness on a primate through Simone. So no, she doesn't live in Madagascar, but she went out there for her studies, and then she came out again with me for the film. And Patricia Wright, she halves her time, half the time she's in New York and half the time she's in Madagascar.
Okay.
She's incredible though; she never stops. She's achieved so many things.
So, but your goal was to interview them there while you're making the film. So you kind of scheduled that when they were going to be there to make the
Yeah,
film?
so luckily Patricia, so again, in terms of working out when to film, I knew I had to film when Patricia would be there, and luckily she
Yeah.
was going to be there. So again, that was quite tricky, trying to make sure we matched up in terms of timings. But Alba was able to just travel with me whenever, so that was good. But yeah,
Gotcha.
Patricia, we had to make sure we were there when Patricia was there, so she was already there for work. She runs Centre Val Bio, which is a research base in this particular rainforest.
So Alba, like, fantastic. Like, she's got this presence. She's like, she has this youthful optimism, if I'm allowed to say that. But
Yeah.
like, you can tell that she's a pretty like remarkable person in many ways, right?
Mm.
Doing this, she can be doing a million other things in her life, but she's doing this,
Mm.
right? So
Absolutely. Yeah, incredible.
it tells you something. So did you first met her on your honeymoon?
No, I didn't meet Albert on the honeymoon. So when I'd met the lemur and gone home again after the honeymoon, and I
Okay.
basically did lots of research online. And yeah, I think I tried to find any lemur experts I could find online, and eventually someone put me in touch with Patricia, and it was then Patricia who told me about Alba and introduced me to Alba. So Alba and I met over Zoom, and I was thinking, let's see, will she be good on camera? And I was finding out all this stuff about her, and I thought, yeah, it
Yeah.
should be great.
So you just kind of met her on Zoom and then you guys traveled together to make the
Yeah,
movie?
yeah, pretty much.
And she was what was I'm assuming she saw the final product. What was her opinion?
Yeah, she loves it. She's really happy with it. Absolutely. In fact, recently the two of us were in Rotterdam for a film festival, and the film was played there, and we both stood up for the Q&A at the
Oh,
end.
great.
So it's nice that she's very much a part of the journey, and I know she hopes to do more research in Madagascar. And if she does, I'd love to film with her if we're able to pitch, a film idea and get more funding. She,
Because
for,
there's a feature film in here, right?
do you think so? I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
No, because your themes are like they're I'm sure maybe someone's made them, maybe someone's making it now, but the theme of the animals losing kind of, losing their environment, that like there's a
Mm,
genetics tie too, right? They like genetically they've been in this environment for thousands of years, millions of years, some of them, right? And
yeah,
having that change is going to put an emotional toll on these animals,
absolutely.
right? That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
film right there.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, I think there must be loads of other, individual animals that we could tell the stories of as
Yeah.
well. So that
And I
would be,
haven't
yeah,
seen that.
that
I
would
haven't
be
seen that film yet.
no. Well, maybe I should see if I can plan something. That would be amazing.
Right? But then like there's a human tie-in, right? About like
Mm.
how like say like I'm just spitballing here, but like say our world is changing with AI and like jobs
Mm.
and everything like that. That's putting emotional toll on humans, right?
Yes,
Imagine the
exactly.
wildlife, like there's that parallel, right?
Yeah, totally. Mental health. Everybody's talking about mental health right now. So to link that
Even
in
though
with
we
wildlife.
screwed it for them, right? We're to
Yeah,
blame for the
I know.
animals, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right because they're both, big hot topics right now. So to have a film that is about both of them, I think would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I just need to pitch it to the right person and get some funding.
Yeah. Well, I think you got a great proof of concept here, right?
Oh,
So
thank you. Thank
it's
you.
a
That's really
well
good to hear.
photographed film. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So tell me about the filming then, because you got really in there. Like the
Yes.
telephoto lens, like how did you like what was the process?
Yeah, so yeah, we had telephoto lens. So there were three other girls out there with me also filming. Not we didn't all film at the same time, but that they'd sometimes help with sound or they'd help with camera work. So maybe we'd have one person on a wide angle lens, one person on the zoom lens. Sometimes we'd have a gimbal to follow Alba through the forest.
Mhm.
But the most challenging thing was the rainforest conditions because it's so humid and wet. And I was prepared that my lenses might get steamed up, and I, did everything to avoid that. But
Yeah.
there were times when the camera itself was almost steamed up on the inside, and there were things we just didn't film because we just couldn't. We couldn't, which was really frustrating because the cameras let us down. So that was, yeah, very challenging. Other times we'd have to, try and shelter the camera somewhere where it could. What's the word I'm looking for? Recalibrate, if that makes sense, get back to its
Yeah.
normal state, and then carry on. So that was challenging, and the conditions in the rainforest weren't easy either. Slipping, it was basically it's a rainforest, but it's hilly. So we were either going up steep hills or down steep hills, and it was very muddy because it had rained so much. So there was a lot of slipping and grabbing bamboo and accidentally grabbing spiky plants and things.
Yeah.
But it was such an adventure, and we got so close to Simone. It was incredible. Um, yeah, and at one point we'd left a camera on a tripod in a location so that we could go further back so she would not be afraid,
Yeah.
and she peed on our camera.
Well, that tells you something, doesn't it?
That's what she
She's
thinks
marked.
about
It's
it
either,
all.
like dogs mark their territory, right? Was she marking her territory?
Yeah, maybe this is my film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. But it was amazing, and yeah, some of the best moments were we came into this sort of clearing area, and there was a group of the golden bamboo lemurs all around us, and it was just, yeah, a really magical experience being fully in the wild there with them. And yeah, I mean, the only tricky things I suppose were leeches. We often got leeches, which were pretty horrible.
Ew.
A friend got one on her head and she hadn't known it was there, and then later on she brushed it off and it was massive from all the blood it
Those
had
are the
taken.
ones
So
that like have bloody. They gotcha.
yeah, but apart from that, Madagascar rainforest is pretty safe. Like I think I would have felt a lot more nervous if I'd been in the Amazon or somewhere in South America because there are far more venomous snakes and spiders that can kill you there, whereas in Madagascar it's quite safe nature-wise, touch wood. So yeah, it was just really insect bites and leeches and oh yeah, I think I got ants on me at one point that were all biting my arm, but generally it was quite safe compared to as rainforests go, I would say.
It helps that the lead your character Simone is cute, right? Like
Oh yeah, she's
it's a
very
cute
cute.
little like there's that shot where it's like on the branches and it's like
Yeah.
a pretty cute animal. It kind of knows that it is in a sense.
Yeah, I think so. Well, that's what I've been hearing from. So Patricia is back out in Madagascar again, and she's been giving me updates on how Simone is doing. And Simone is actually properly with the full Golden Bamboo Lemur group again. She seems to be back in that family group, which is amazing. But also um, she seems to have adapted because she's alone. She spends a lot more time in the areas where tourists go, which obviously made it easier for us filming. Rather than being deep, deep, deep in the forest, she was around the areas where tourists can go with guides. And we think the reason for that is because people being around scares off the predator, the fossa, which would be Simone's main predator. Anyway, Patricia was saying that Simone has been posing for the tourists because she obviously seems to know she's a star now. So she was, yeah, laughing that Simone was a bit of a diva, just standing there eating her bamboo for people to see.
Yeah, no, it's great. Okay, so you shot a bunch of footage. You got Alba, you got the interviews. Then I'm assuming you go back home to the UK and you start editing,
Mm,
right?
yes, yeah, that was the toughest part, I think.
Did you always know you're going to have a voiceover?
um, yes, I think. No, at some point, I think maybe I thought it would be led by Alba, perhaps. But yeah, in the edit, when it came to piecing it all together, it seemed like a voiceover would knit it together more easily. But yes, there was just so much footage. In fact, there's quite a lot of content that I haven't been able to use. So I'm actually editing a few little extra bits that I'm going to put on Instagram and things as, bonus feature stuff.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Because there was a lot to get through, and yeah, just making decisions about what would be best for the story was quite challenging. And although obviously I enjoyed the edit, I would say being out there with the wildlife and filming is what I love rather than being stuck at a computer. So sometimes that was a bit frustrating. I just wanted to be out there
Yeah.
rather than editing.
So
And
did you always want to edit the film though?
yeah, I definitely was always going to do it myself. Yeah, I did the whole thing myself because that was part of the challenge, I suppose. But generally, I think I'm still editing stuff of my own now. I'm making a film about beavers in the UK at the moment, and we've just finished filming, so I'm going to be editing that myself with a friend as well. But generally, if I were to pick, one specialism, it would be being on the camera, observing the wildlife, or planning the story. Because yeah, sitting at a computer for a long time doesn't tend to make me feel so good.
No, but it's a nicely put together film. So
Oh, thank
like,
you very much. Thank you.
okay, so
Yeah.
then you got the voiceover. I just want to talk about the sound design. Obviously, the music,
Mm.
the voiceover, the
Mhm.
sound design in general. You did that
Mhm.
as well?
So when we were out in Madagascar, so I really wanted to have traditional Malagasy music as part of the soundtrack.
Yeah.
So when we were out there, we recorded a great local band from Ranomafana called Les Endemiques, and they did some lovely music. They had some really good songs, all in Malagasy, but they all had words. So at the time, I didn't really think anything of it, recorded it all. But then when putting it against the film, it just didn't really work. So
Yeah.
I ended up using little tiny bits of it. There's some bits in the film where there's like a joyous moment where Simone's with the golden, and that's where some of their music comes in a tiny bit. But for the rest of it, I had a composer who I met in Bristol called Joe Galushka, and yeah, I worked closely with him. So he designed the music, he composed the music, sorry, and yeah, I worked closely with him, discussing what sort of mood I wanted the music to convey. Um, but yeah, I would have liked to have more Malagasy tone to most of the music, but it was tricky in the
Is
end.
that what you call it? Madagascar?
Malagasy, yeah,
Malagasy? Okay.
yeah.
And then you found a narrator, right?
Yes, yeah, that was very lucky. So initially, when I submitted my film for my course, it was me narrating. That was the first
I was going
version,
to ask you if
and then
you ever thought about narrating the film. Go ahead.
yeah, so there is a version with me narrating it, but then I thought I needed someone maybe who sounded more professional, and very very luckily a friend of a friend um, is a voice actor, and she agreed to do the narration for me for free, which was really kind of her. So that was that
Yeah.
was her, Ruth Ridman.
Like not that like I've seen a lot of films fail because the filmmaker, not that yours was going to, but
Mm,
with the filmmaker making doing the voiceover, and it's like
mm,
it's very it's not an easy job, right? Because they're carrying the
no.
tone, they're carrying the emotion of the story, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I didn't think it was going to be that hard, and then yeah, when I listen to it back and compare it to this lady's, I'm like, oh, how does she do that? Just
Yeah.
manages to have such impact in the way she speaks. So I'm really glad I found her because I think it,
Some
yeah,
of
it
them
added
have
the
a like
profession.
obviously they all work hard. It's like being a musician. It's like they all work hard
Mm.
at it, but there's a gift. There's an initial gift that I find with certain
Mm.
narrators.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, she's fantastic. Um, yeah, and there were a few. I think we had a couple of retakes, but generally, yeah, it was yeah, really impressive.
Yeah, she did a great job. So then, okay, so then you tied in, but you found a lot of, did you use a lot of the sound on set that
Oh
you like
yes,
you
so
grabbed? Yeah,
yeah, so we took sound recording equipment with us. So we recorded bird song and general rainforest ambience that we included in it, and recordings of the animal sounds. But then I also was able to get some extra animal sounds from. So I got in touch with another scientist called Patrick. I've gone and forgotten his surname now,
yeah,
but he was working on something in Madagascar, and for the section where the section where Simone drops the baby, we didn't have a recording of a distressed mother golden bamboo lemur, but this Patrick guy had a recording of that, and I think adding that made that section more impactful.
Oh, wow. So you got your, so did you, I was like, I have it down that you should be making more films, but I guess you are, you're making another
Yeah,
film right
trying
now.
to. Yeah, it's tricky because it's hard to earn a living in this career. So
Sure.
I gave up teaching to go down this route, and to make ends meet, I'm still doing a little bit of language tutoring online, but trying to do as much filmmaking stuff in between as I can. So this beaver film is just quite a low budget film that I'm making with a friend, but I'm hoping uh, again it could go through the film festival circuit and yeah, hopefully go somewhere from there. And other than that, I've got a few other ideas that I can I can start forming pitches for. And yeah, continuing to train up my camera skills and get experience where I can.
So, okay, so then you do tutor, like, what do you, well, you said what languages do you speak again? German?
Spanish, French, and German.
Spanish, French, and German. So Spanish and French are a little bit similar, I guess, right? In the language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. German's completely different.
Yeah,
I
and
actually was in Germany last week and I did a presentation about my film in German to a German
oh
audience, so
wow.
that was quite exciting.
And this is something you
Yeah.
did, like you learned like growing up, like you picked up all these languages.
Yeah, so I did French and German at school. And then when I went to university, I picked up Spanish as well. So I started Spanish from scratch and studied that alongside French and German. And I got to live abroad for some time. So I spent 8 months living in Mallorca to improve my Spanish. Um, and yeah, I've just continued to, I've always loved languages and always loved learning new ones as well. I speak a bit of Romanian and Greek as well. And when I was in Madagascar, I was learning a few Malagasy phrases too. So yeah, I just
Well,
love learning languages.
I'm assuming because I know a lot of African countries they speak French, but
Mm,
they have their own language.
they do, yeah. They speak French as well, but not
Yeah.
all of them. But the French is meant to be one of their official languages, but most of them speak Malagasy, yeah, their own language, which is actually a little bit similar to Malaysian, because people a long time ago traveled in boats to Madagascar from Southeast Asia. So the language has a few similarities. But yeah, it's all the words are really, really, really long.
Yeah.
Just to say thank you, you have to say miso trabetsaka.
Well, let's just say that makes you that'll make you a better filmmaker as you your journey moves forward, right? So
That's what I'm
learning
hoping. I like
languages.
to be able to connect with people in the country I'm filming in. I think that's really
Yeah.
important. And you can also find out more interesting stories that way.
100%. Well, congratulations on the film. I love to see your I'm going to call it the beaver film. I love to see
Yes.
the beaver film. Uh,
Thank you so much.
one of my favorite animals. They do
Oh,
such
really?
interesting
Oh,
things.
amazing.
Well, it's interesting,
Fantastic.
right? What they like all the yeah.
Yeah,
So
totally. It's quite a hot topic in the UK right now because they're this year they're finally allowed to be released into the wild legally. So yeah, it's a bit of a controversial issue because some people aren't sure. Because basically we technically haven't had wild beavers in this country for 400 years because we wiped them out. So it's all about rewilding and bringing them back. But not
yeah.
everybody's happy about it. So
I don't know how
yeah.
that's controversial, but I guess it is, right? So yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
All right, well, congratulations on everything. We're showing your
Thank
film
you so
again
much.
on December 11th and at the festival, so that's going to be amazing. We'll
Yes,
send you some pictures when the film's playing. Looking
fantastic.
forward to seeing
I
what
think
the audience thinks.
Patricia,
You're gonna love it.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think Patricia's going to be there to do the Q&A, which would be great.
yeah, she will be. That's even better, right? So that's great. So
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I'm sorry
yeah,
I can't be there myself. I'd
no,
love
no
to be, but
problem.
it's a long
There's some
way.
controversy. Like didn't want to do the Q&A, but Patricia's going to do it. So not controversy,
Oh
but
yeah.
just
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It's
Brilliant.
a Toronto audience. Toronto audience is pretty cool. Like they're pretty safe.
Oh,
So
good.
yeah,
Yeah. If I was there, I would definitely do it. But
yeah,
unfortunately, I can't travel that far at the moment.
yeah. Of course, no problem. All right, thank you so much for your time, and let's talk
Thank you
again when
so
you make your
much.
next film or when your next film is made.
Absolutely.